one red, pour out the Jameson for ancestors to swig.
You rescue me yet again. You put me first everywhere. You make me feel better than the mother dudes. You rescue me yet again. You put me first everywhere. You make me feel better than the mother dudes.
Thank you for tuning to the Black Fathers Initiative of Cleveland YouTube page. Really appreciate the love, guys. Make sure you guys click the link in the bio. Like, subscribe. You know what to do. And first and foremost, I definitely want to shout out all my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys stopping by, dropping comments. Shout out Joshua Brown. Dropped a comment about, I think this was on the video where I talked about my issue when I had went to end up getting locked up at 19. But he said, I agree with the majority of what you said and covered. There are a few things I disagree with. I can't speak to the state of the system when you were 19, but I can say that the ending note is the hardest hitter. Kevin Samuels used to say that slavery and Jim Crow couldn't do what feminism did to the black community. The system was set up against the black community for a long time. It's finally getting to a better spot. And now we have women choosing to ignore the majority of their men. Great comment. I appreciate the love, Joshua. And yeah, I agree with that 100%. Then I had Frack You Long Time. Shout out Frack You Long Time. He left a comment. I got busted when I was 20 for drugs. I never blamed it on the system. Did my time and will suffer from it. You robbed someone and you think your punishment was too harsh. So I did reply to him, and I said, yes, I do. I feel the place I was caught affected how I was treated, but I understand your point, in which I do understand his point. He said, I don't know the particulars of your case, so you may be right. I was in an all-white religious area, and they threw the book at me, which is pretty much what I was saying too. You know, if I would have been in the inner city, I probably would have got a probation. But because I was in the suburbs, in a white suburb, they definitely sent me to jail. Like, oh, you going straight to jail, Negro. So, appreciate the love, appreciate the comments. Guys, make sure you guys keep dropping those comments. Really appreciate the love. And I'm going to start shouting out my subscribers who leave comments. Definitely going to shout you out. So, appreciate the love. So let's get into it. So with everything going on with these 5 officers, and if you didn't know, the word in the street is there was some type of female involved, some type of, you know, it was a domestic. It sounds like it might have been domestic, but we haven't got the verifications yet, so we're still waiting on the verification that was the reason. But it sounds like there may have been a female involved that stopped messing with the cop, started messing with Tyree, and that may be, you know, why what happened. Now, I will say that I spoke about this already, saying that it sounds like this was a crime of passion. And we all know usually a crime of passion is usually personal. Usually you know that person. They know that person. This is personal. And everything about the whole situation sounds personal to me. When you watch the video, they literally pull him over and pull him off the car. Like, I don't even know how I would react to something like that. Like, I get pulled over and then you automatically just start pulling me out the car. Oh my God, I know he was scared for his life. He knew something was up. And like I stated, if there is a woman involved, that's even worse, because it just goes to show that, you know, those, you know, at least one of those black men, you know, was emotionally insecure and, you know, has some emotional problems that he probably needs to deal with. But yeah, if it comes out that that he was killed based off of, you know, a woman, because from what I hear, one of the cops' girlfriends started messing with him, started messing with Tyree, and We know the rest. So, but regardless, what I'm posting today is something that Umar posted probably about 6 months ago. So this isn't even new. But once again, it still speaks to what's going on now. And he definitely makes some good points about what we need to be doing as a community. So let's see what he's talking about.
Peculiar characteristics of the Negro psyche. Peculiar characteristics of the Negro psyche. Peculiar characteristics of the Negro psyche. Number one, we are the only race that will allow its members to sabotage and destroy its progress over petty differences, jealousies, and envy. No other race will allow any organization, any church, any member of its community to destroy the collective progress of the entire race. Nobody allows that except Negroes. Nobody allows that except Negroes. Let me give you an example. The gangster rap community is out of control. The gangster rap community is out of control. I just heard another young rapper was murdered in Louisiana. I just heard another young rapper was murdered in Louisiana. I just heard another young rapper was murdered in Louisiana. I just heard this. And I'm trying to understand why the elders in the hip hop community don't put no law and order to these hip hop streets. I'm trying to understand why the black community doesn't impose law and order on the gangster rap community. I don't understand this.
They're scared.
I do not understand. Actually, I do, self-hate.
Yeah,
but I need you to understand we're the only race that will allow its children to destroy the whole race. We will let the black bourgeoisie destroy the whole race. We'll let the black feminists destroy the whole race. We'll let the manosphere destroy the whole race. We'll let the rainbow gangers destroy the whole race. We'll let the anti-Africans destroy the whole race. We're the only race of people that destructs from within. If you want the Chinese to go away, you're going to have to defeat the Chinese. They're not going to defeat themselves. If you want the Arabs to go away, you got to defeat the Arabs. They're not going to defeat themselves. If you want the European Jews to go away, you're going to have to defeat the European Jews. They're not going to self-destruct. If you want the Anglo-Saxons, if you want the British, if you want the Mexicans to go away, you're going to have to defeat them. They're not going to self-destruct. Nobody has to defeat African people. We're doing a good enough job ourselves. No one has to defeat African people. We're doing a good enough job ourselves. No one has to defeat African people. We are doing a good enough job on our own. Number two, we are the only race in the country, the only one, who believes that the government should solve all of its major problems. Nobody else believes this but Negroes. $2 trillion. $2 trillion of buying power. And we want to sit around and wait for a reparations check. I support reparations. I support reparations. I believe in reparations. But I don't believe in sitting around waiting for a check from the government before I get up off my ass and do something for my community. That is a cop-out. That is an excuse, and that ain't nothing but escapism. That is a cop-out. That is an excuse, and that is nothing but escapism. You should not have to wait on the government to solve your problems. And the reason black folks love waiting on the government to solve your problems is because, number one, self-hate, and you have no racial integrity or political character.
think
We
self-hate
as
is the
a
biggest
race
thing.
have very little racial integrity, very little racial character. As one brother called it, a racial ego. Black people don't have a racial ego. You disrespect Chinese, they gonna come at your ass. You disrespect the European Jews, they gonna come at your ass. You disrespect the Anglo-Saxons, they gonna come at your ass. You disrespect the Arabs, they gonna come at your ass. You disrespect the Mexicans, they gonna come at your ass. You disrespect black folks, we will forgive you, and we will ask you to be more compassionate and understanding and merciful towards us. We're the only group without a racial ego. We are the only race. This is why we are the doormats for everybody else in the country. This is why we are the doormats for everybody else in the country.
Damn.
You cannot insult another race and think you're going to get away with it. You cannot insult another race and think you can get away with it. But you can insult black folks, and we will forgive you before you get arrested. We will forgive you before you go to jail. We will forgive you before you have been charged with a crime. We will forgive you.
We're the most
before you have
forgivingest
been
people I know.
Excuse me, before you have been convicted. We will forgive you.
Giving it a
before
buck.
you have been
Like, we
sentenced
are the
anytime.
most
That's black folks.
forgiving people I know.
Black folks. Go ask the European Jews. Have they forgiven the Nazis yet? Go ask the European Jews if they have forgiven the Nazis yet.
And we see with
Go
Kyrie, no, they haven't.
Go ask them, doesn't your religion teach forgiveness? So why haven't you forgiven the Nazis? You know why they haven't forgiven the Nazis? Because what the Nazis did to the European Jews
Did on
was not a
purpose.
mistake.
Right, did that on purpose.
It was intentional. You don't forgive intentional racial tragedy and abuse
We
and
do.
genocide. You don't forgive genocide.
We do.
Who in a right mind would forgive an act of genocide? It's the worst crime you can commit against humanity. It's the worst crime. Genocide is the worst crime you can commit against another people. And black folks are forgiving white folks for slavery because your self-esteem is so low.
I don't.
Your self-esteem is so low.
I do not
you
forgive
want
them.
to be accepted by white folks.
Yeah, I never forgive
You
them.
want to be accepted by white folks.
Even if they
You
give
want
me
acceptance,
reparations,
and we're
I'm not
sitting
forgiving
around
shit.
begging the government to stop crime in our community. That's insane. That is insane that black mothers and black fathers, that is insane that black elders are calling the white government to come and patrol their black children. I need you to see how sick this is. I need you to step back. I need you to understand, overstand, and understand how sick and insane and irresponsible it is. We got
That's crazy.
millions of black adults in this country. We have millions of black adults in this country. We have millions of black adults in this country. And instead of us getting out in the streets of Chicago, getting out in the streets of Indianapolis, getting out in the streets of Baltimore, getting out in the streets of New York City, getting out in the streets of Atlanta and Philadelphia and Little Rock and Mobile, Alabama, getting out in the streets of New Orleans and Phoenix and LA and Oakland, Milwaukee and Detroit, instead of all the black adults organizing ourselves and going out into the street to tell our children, we now have a community patrol. We now have a community patrol in uniform. Black men and women in uniform. Community patrol. We have.
And I just want to throw this out there. They just started, I believe, a community patrol in Detroit. And it seems to be doing pretty damn well. I've been seeing them out patrolling at night, at the gas stations. I guess probably like the most violent gas stations, helping black women, pumping their gas, helping them with groceries, and just literally patrolling the neighborhood with their vests on, with guns. No police, no word police on the front. I think they're calling themselves the New Era or New Era something. But yeah, it has to start somewhere. And I would say, California did start the reparations talk for real. And hopefully that'll trickle down to the rest of the states. And what was I about to say? And Detroit, like I said, they have their own patrol now in some of their cities. So they're starting to patrol their own neighborhoods. So, I think we're getting there slowly, but we're definitely getting there.
Our own curfew, our own rules. Put your hands on a black woman, we're gonna whip your ass right there in the street. Disrespect your mother, we're gonna whip your ass right there in the street. Disrespect an elder, we're gonna whip your ass right there in the street. And we dare your little young ass to pull out a gun. We dare your little young ass to pull out a gun. We double, triple, quadruple dare your young ass to pull out a gun. It'll be the last time you pull out anything in your life.
Whoopsie.
But the problem is, number one, black people too lazy to take their destiny into their own hands. Slavery destroyed the spirit of independence.
I do agree that slavery destroyed the spirit of independence. But what did he just say? I think what he just said is more important.
Respect your mother. We're going to whip your ass right there in the street. Disrespect an elder. We're going to whip your ass right there in the street. And we dare your little young ass to pull out a gun. We dare your little young ass to pull out a gun. We double, triple, quadruple dare your young ass to pull out a gun. It'll be the last time you pull out anything in your life. But the problem is, number one, black people too lazy to take their destiny into their own hands. Slavery destroyed the spirit of independence in black people.
Okay, so yeah, pretty much what he was saying about slavery destroying the independence of black people. I agree with that 100%. But I think, a lot of it, I don't even think is fear. It's more so, like he said, black people don't want to do nothing, right? They call us lazy, good for nothing, don't want to have a job, don't want to do this, don't want to do that.